All right. Oh, there's a go live button. What's going on, everybody? All right, welcome to the live. There's a go live button. So sorry for the delay there. If you guys have been waiting, I apologize. Having some technical difficulties. Normally Rob's the one doing this, but as he is out of the office, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. If you don't know who I am, I'm Ben. I've been with the company for about 3 years and some change. So really been around this whole project since the beginning. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is let everybody join. So we'll kick this bad boy off in about 2 minutes. I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to log on. If you're new here or this is your first live, if you look on your computer screen in the bottom right hand corner of the window, there is a little chat box, and what you can do is actually write in and ask me questions. As I see those pop up, I'm going to try and answer them all in order. So if there's something you're wondering, something that you haven't found on our FAQ section on our site or that sort of thing, go ahead, type it in there, and I'm going to address it throughout the course of this live. As always, we are going to have Troy, our logistics and supply chain manager, come on. He's really the brains of all the obviously shipping and logistics that are going on. So he's going to be the person that can most accurately tell you about where your bike is if you're one of those people that's wondering when that package is going to show up on your door. Over the past week, we've done a lot of allocations. We have all 3 factories pumping out bikes at a rate faster than they ever have before. So you can expect some new updates coming down the pipeline. Again, when Troy gets on here, he'll be the one letting you know how that goes. So just want to welcome everyone, Steve, Mark, all you guys here. It's great to have you on this live. We're going to give it another minute or two just to let a few more people join, and then we're going to go ahead and kick this thing off. All right. So I guess we'll start with the first question. Mike asks, are there any standards being assembled in Spain? Yes, if you're one of those people that ordered a bike of the standard configuration and you're in Europe, the bike will be coming out of our Spain factory. So we are building them there. Is there currently any being immediately produced on the line right now? That's not something I'm sure on, but if you ordered one of those bikes, you will be receiving one. Hey, Alphonse, how you doing? 10 push-ups for making us wait. I will do that right after I do this live. I'm good for it. Last thing you want is me breathing heavy while I'm trying to answer all these questions. Real quick before I kick this off, I want to mention it one more time. Troy will be coming in, logistics supply chain manager. So as far as being informed of where your bike is, address notifications, allocations, that sort of thing, he really has it all down. So rather than misspeak and tell you something that I'm not 100% sure on, I'm just going to wait until he gets in here to go over all that. So don't feel like I'm skipping over your question or anything like that. Mark Steve, I already said what's up. Cuban Dub, how we doing? Don't let Sarah hear me say that. Yes. All right. So Bihal asks if I had an email for confirming my shipping address. Does that mean my bike's on MSC La Principe? It looks like docked today. Finally. So I'm not actually sure if your bike is going to be on that ship specifically. However, if you've gotten an address notification email asking you to make sure that everything looks correct, that means your bike is pretty far out through the pipeline, and it will be delivered to you hopefully within 2 to 4 weeks, about that time frame. The reason we reach out for those address confirms is we're comfortable enough knowing your bike is on a ship somewhere where we can track it and know exactly where it is in the production life cycle. So if you have gotten one of those confirmation emails, it does mean your bike will be there shortly. However, for your specific question, I don't know if it's on that ship. Hey, Steve, welcome. Someday my ship will come in. That sounds like a song title. That's right. Again, guys, if you're asking about specific shipping questions, I'm going to wait till Troy gets in here for that. All right. Emerald Citizen says, still looking forward to getting my bike, possibly in the second round of allocations. It's been a long wait, but it will be worth it. Keep up the good work. Thanks so much for that. We are really trying to get these out as quickly as possible. We've hit a couple weeks back, we hit a really big turning point where everything is firing on all cylinders now. So we hope to clean up the last bit of those bikes and get you all riding within the next couple months. That's everybody. So again, appreciate your patience so much. Your words mean a lot to us. Steve asks, can the brakes be fitted to the UK standard, which is the other way? So I guess what you mean is in the States, we ride with the back brake on the right hand and the front brake on the left. In the UK, it's backwards. The brakes can be outfitted to work that way. And I actually do not hold me to this. I think the ones going to the UK are swapped to already come fitted to your standards. However, if they're not, it's not a hard procedure to swap those out. You could take it to any local bike shop, and they'd be able to do that procedure for you. All right, so where is the Robster at? Where is Rob Rast? So Rob is actually in Hawaii right now. Him and his brother took just a few days off. It's actually, since I've been here, for 3 years and some change. It's the first vacation I've ever seen Rob go on. That man does not take time off for anything, anyone, anywhere. So really good for him to go out, surf, hang out in the sun. But he will be back. He didn't even take a full week. He's not even there for a full week. But yeah, that's where he is today. And that's why I'm jumping on talking to you guys now. Raphael says he's patiently waiting for the email. How much sense does it make to order a spare battery? If I were you guys, or if I were someone that potentially was looking at a spare battery, there's two questions I'd really ask myself. Actually, one is, how frequently do I plan on riding this? Because the battery is not hot swappable, meaning you can't just plug it in and go. You do have to, put your bike on a stand and take it out. The extra battery is really meant for those who plan on putting, several thousand miles on their bike within a relatively short span. If you're not someone who's going to be commuting, 100 plus miles a week or something like that, I would not recommend getting that extra battery until you've gone several cycles through it and you start to notice a drop in capacity. So that's what I'd say for you in that specific question. But Troy just walked in the door, so we're going to welcome him here. And he's going to be able to tell you guys all the fun stuff in regards to shipping updates and that sort of thing. So
fantastic. All right, let's start from the top here. North America. Oh, do you know what turned 28 today?
What's that?
The number of locations we have shipped to.
Really? Yep. 28 countries so far, so that's pretty darn cool, guys.
Okay, so North America. A lot of people are asking about what ship they're on and all that, so I'm going to spend a little time on that and talk about this. So if you got an address confirmation on March 26th or thereabouts, address confirmations, they can take a while to go out. When we send out hundreds of them, they kind of chunk their way out, so it can take a day. But if you got an address confirmation on March 26th, your bike is on container T2 or T3. And that's the MSC La Spezia. That's the one we've been waiting for. Actually just birthed either late last night or this morning, early this morning. It hadn't last night when I checked, and it did this morning. So the La Spezia is now in the LA Harbor, and hopefully will be unloading, and we should have those to FedEx probably in the next 10 days. That's the usual turnaround, and then takes about a day to de-stuff the containers. Since this is a lot of bikes, this is 450 bikes, multiple containers. It'll take probably a couple days. De-stuff, we'll give them all the labels, and then they'll start shipping out. So you're probably about 2 weeks before these really start shipping out. But the La Spezia is docked. If you got an allocation letter on 319, not an address confirmation, but an allocation letter 319, you're on container T4. That is the MSC Ariga. If you want to follow along, that one is closing in on Tacoma right now. Actually, Ken Garbett from Facebook has been posting this, and I appreciate the help. He's been following this stuff along. So if you got an allocation letter on 319, you're on container T4 containers T4. That's on the MSC Ariga. So if you want to follow that one along, and also on 4/6 we sent out the allocation letters for container 18 C18. That is also on the MSC Ariga. So we've got a ton of bikes coming on that. I think it's, if I remember right, it's 800 bikes coming on the MSC Ariga. If you got an allocation letter on 413. That is shipment T5. That is the CSCL South China Sea. If you want to follow that one along, that's at sea also. And then the C19 is not a lot of baby makers. This is the one that actually has touring kits. We've revised the number up. We thought it was going to be 700. Touring kits is actually 825. So we've got a ton of touring kits coming in. That is on the MOL Prestige, if you want to follow that along. So we have not sent out the allocation letters or any address confirmations for touring kits. So those are still going to be coming out. T6 is about to go to sea. Not going to provide all the information on the ship and all that, but the allocation letters will be coming out for T6 next week. So a lot more bikes. That's 660 bikes, if I remember correctly. Other updates, US batteries, we've shipped. If you ordered an extra battery along with your bike, we have shipped that out if you actually have your bike. We don't ship out the accessories and touring kits and all that until you have your bike. So all the US batteries for fulfilled bikes have now been shipped. The Canada batteries, we've done a partial, and those are in process right now. So we're shipping those out. If you bought a charger and you have your bike, we just cut 80 some labels on those, so the chargers are going to start moving out also. So if you ordered an extra charger, that's going to be on its way also. Okay, Europe and UK. So just so everyone understands, for Europe and UK, we don't do allocation letters because the time to turn around is so short to ship from Spain to fulfillment in either the Netherlands or the UK. So there's no allocation letters. We go straight to an address confirmation. But UK1, we got it out. 86 of 88 have shipped. Got real prompt payment on VAT stuff from most everybody, and we have one outstanding and one person who apparently we didn't have a good email for, so we just got them their information, and they're going to be sending that to us, and we'll get that order processed. The turnaround that I've seen has been very, very quick. It's usually a day to 2 days maximum, and people are getting their bikes. So Tough Nose has apparently done a pretty good job on getting everyone their bikes. So UK1 virtually done. The NL3 is en route. That went out last week. That'll probably start the we'll probably start fulfillment on that. That's going to arrive in the Netherlands tomorrow. So they'll de-stuff that, and that'll probably start fulfillment on Monday, possibly on Friday. So NL3, that's 126 bikes. UK2, 96 bikes. The address confirmations will go out for that on Friday. That's the same time that the truck will leave Spain on Friday, and should be to distribution either the 28th or 29th. So that should start shipping out probably late next week or early the following week, the 1st of May. NL4, that is going to be shipping next week by Friday. I don't have exact number on that. we will send out the address confirms on the same day. 4:30, you'll send out the address confirms. I did see a question on there. Someone is asking about standard bikes in Spain. The answer is yes, we are building standard bikes in Spain. There weren't any in UK1 or NL3, but there are standard bikes in UK2, NL4, and pretty much every shipment after that, there'll be standard bikes. Low volume locations. So we have 25 bikes that are shipping to Hong Kong tomorrow. So those are on their way. The 5 bikes that we had for China have all been fulfilled, and we did a test shipment to Japan of 2 bikes, and those are on their way also. We're going to be sending out the labels for the rest of Japan, Taiwan, and Korea probably tomorrow. And then we just sent out, in fact, if Chris is on, he's probably maybe checking his email right now. We just sent out address notifications for Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. And we will be doing those for Australia and New Zealand. They're a little bit different because we have a kind of a mixed bag there in that we have accessories like touring kits and things like that to fulfill for people who already have their bikes. And then we have the remaining bikes that are going to be shipped complete with their touring kits and, you know, extra chargers, extra batteries, all of that. So that's what is happening. Busy week.
Yeah, very busy week. As Troy said, you know, between this week and the next, over 1,000 bikes, and along with accessories. So we really are moving forward.
May is going to be a very big month.
May is going to be a huge month. So yeah.
Absolutely huge.
All right. Well, Troy, thank you for everything. Is there anything else you want to add real quick?
Unless I had a question. I don't know if there's any questions that popped up. Like I said, I saw the question about the standard bikes. Someone said, I guess was challenging the percentages, saying, you know, we didn't have 78% delivered. So take a look at it. We didn't say it's not delivered. Those are shipped. So those are en route. So a lot of those are on the water, but they are coming from the factories. A lot of those are coming from China. So they're not delivered, but they're shipped from the factory, and that is the metric we've been using. So yeah, it's just a misunderstanding or terminology.
Yeah, shipped versus delivered and on doorsteps.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. Well, I guess while you're here, why don't we give you 2 questions?
Okay.
How about that?
All right.
Let's see what we got here. I want to get one in relation to shipping because I can handle some of those other ones.
Yeah. Okay. So there's someone saying their email 325 was ready to ship. So that would have probably been your T2, T3. So again, that's probably the MSC La Spezia that's at port right now.
Yeah. So Mr. Walter Westbrook, you should get a notification from the carrier within the next week or 2. Like Troy said, they still have to unload, get the container taken from the ship to the carrier, unloaded, packaged with a label, and then sent out. So there is a little bit of a in-between process from when the ship actually docks at port to when that bike is ready on its way to you.
Well, yeah, they have to unload the ship, which will contain thousands of containers, and then through customs, and then ground transport to FedEx here in Los Angeles. Again, so I've given you the ship names, either Vessel Finder or MarineTracker.com. You can go to either one of those and track those ships if you'd like. If it gives you, you can see that they're actually moving and they're coming along.
Nice. All right. I'm gonna take that one. Let's see.
I need to know when our bike will be shipping. So you'll get an address verification letter, and what it does is it has your name, it has your order number, has your address information, and has your bike configuration along with a little decoding thing to make sure it's the correct bike. And then what happens is if you read down, it tells you to get in touch with our support. I think it's through email, right?
Yes.
support@flx.bike, and you can make an address change in case your address has changed. And don't put that off, because sometimes people do that. Once it's shipped, we really cannot change the destination because we have signature required. And when you have signature required, the only person who can really change it is the person that's being sent to. We can't, even though we're the ones who sent it, we cannot change the destination.
All right. Well, Troy, thank you.
That's it?
Yep. Thank you
There
for
you go.
everything today. Like I said, the brains behind all the shipping logistics. So if you didn't catch that, still need any clarification, shoot us an email and we'll try and help you out. But thanks for everything, Troy.
Got it.
All right. So real quick, guys, I just wanted to kind of go over something just to clarify. Like Troy mentioned, there's two main emails that you'll get if you're in North America, and that is your allocation email and your confirmation email. Again, this is for North America only. What the allocation email says is basically, hey, we've got a bike that's getting ready to finish the production stage, and it's yours. However, this bike may not have been shipped out yet. It may not even be on a container. We just want to give you a heads up, and what that letter will say is you can expect it about, mid-May, late June, whatever it is, and we're just trying to give you a time frame of about when that bike will come, so that you guys are aware of what's going on. The second email you're going to receive is actually the address confirmation email. That means you're further along down that pipeline for delivery. And what that one asks you to do is make sure that the address we have on file is where you actually want the bike to go, as well as that the configuration of what we're sending you is correct. Now, like Troy mentioned, if you're one of those guys in Europe, you will not get an allocation email, since the time from when that bike hits the end of the production line to when it's ready to actually ship on a truck to your doorstep is so short. So the allocation is mainly for North America, to give you guys a bit of a estimate of when we think it'll come. Again, we're really trying to be as transparent with you guys as we can. It's just so funny when I see people, call us out or say we're being deceptive and that sort of thing. Since the start of Indiegogo campaign, we've put out about 105 updates. We do these lives every week. If we wanted to ignore you guys or do that, believe me, it'd be way easier than getting all this set up. But we really do want to keep you guys as informed as possible, and that's why we send out these emails. That's why we do these lives. So for those of you listening, watching, I know there's a couple regulars on here. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Along with you guys that help people out in that Facebook forum. We've had over 10,000 baby makers purchased. So there's a huge community of you guys, and it's great to see you working together in that Facebook group and that sort of thing. So there's a great community out there. If you have questions, there's a bunch of people with their bikes already, and soon most of you guys will have one as well. Actually, soon all of you guys will have one as well. Now that Troy's kind of gone over where the bikes are and that sort of thing, what we can expect within the next week or two, I'm going to go ahead and answer some of your questions. Again, like I mentioned before, I'm not Rain Man like he is, going over all those locations and what's going where and when. So if you have a specific question regarding, a bike or something like that where yours is, I may skip over you. Don't take offense. I'd just rather give you no information instead of incorrect information. But let me jump into the comments section here and go ahead and get started. Let me see if I can find my spot here where I left off. I believe we were talking about brakes in the UK. Then we talked about how Rob is on vacation, the first one in 3 years. So I'm really happy for that guy. Corinne says she got an email asking her to double check her address. Now she's waiting on her bike and a bit insecure. The next step, if it's going to Switzerland, if you've got an address confirmation and you're in Switzerland, what I can tell you is be patient. From that time the address confirmation goes out, it can take 3 to 4 weeks to actually get your bike on a truck and moving. So just know, if you've gotten that email, patience is going to pay off. Your bike will be coming. Again, though, if you find that 3 or 4 weeks has gone by with no movement, you can always shoot us an email at support@flx.bike. And Let me check my volumes real quick. And we'll be able to give you a more precise estimate. But if you do have an address confirmation, please give us 3 weeks to 4 weeks before you ask anything. That'll just help our support guys so much. They're incredibly busy with all of our riders, both ones with a bike and without. So we want to make sure that they're addressing the most immediate concerns. So if you've gotten that address confirm, know that your bike will be there shortly. Fawn says, great to hear the Robster is relaxing in the Hawaii, living vicariously through him. Yeah, if you don't know, Rob lives a very active lifestyle, surfing, skateboarding, riding bikes, that sort of thing. He's always on social media, absolutely loves interacting with people. So if you want to follow him more, check out his Instagram, comment on his stuff. He's good at getting back to people and really just enjoys the community and people who like having fun as well and enjoying that active lifestyle. So Nalish says, Ben is acting as CEO this week. I'm trying to. It did take us about an hour to get set up in here with, the lights and the little DJ booth board and these microphones and that sort of thing. But yeah, doing my best. I hope you guys can understand me, hear me, and like what I'm saying so far. Please be nice to me, as someone commented. I'll second that. Let me see here. So somebody forever asked, why did you all increase the price, but you didn't do it the same price hike schedules? So I assume you're talking about the Indiegogo campaign itself when we launched. The reason we adjusted the prices and not a very strict schedule, I guess you would call it, is because we want to generate buzz. And as a matter of fact, those of you who ordered day one got one of the best prices available. Our margins are teeny tiny, guys. When we launched, the bike was basically 50% off. As we get more people buying, that price slightly goes up. And that's not only an incentive to get you to buy when the price is the lowest, but it needs to go up so that we can keep the lights on here, keep those factories running and that sort of thing. So initially, there's almost no money to be made. We wanted to give you guys the best opportunity to hop on a bike at the lowest price possible. And then from there, we adjusted as more orders came in, as parts became more scarce or that sort of thing. So that is why the price has been adjusting throughout the course of this campaign and even after. Someone asked, are we blacklisting? I'm not sure if you're referring to the YouTube or our Facebook page. It really is an open forum. Unless you're being aggressive towards other riders using profane language and that sort of thing, we really don't blacklist anybody. Only people that come to us and report that someone is using harassing language and that sort of thing. So if you're in one of those groups and you're thinking about posting something, we encourage you to do so. Just know that we do monitor it. So be careful there. There is rules and guidelines on the Baby Maker, I believe it's called Baby Maker VIP owners group. So we say what you can and can't say there. It's really simple. If you wouldn't say it to someone's mom, don't say it in the forum and you'll be good to go. All right. So Cuban Dub asked, general question, how do you know when your bike will be shipping? Will we be notified as it's being shipped? So again, like I said before, if you're in Europe, when you get the address confirmation email, that means your bike is about 3 to 4 weeks out. In North America, US and Canada, what we do is we actually send you an allocation email beforehand, and that says, hey, it's too far to give you an exact date, but we estimate your bike will be coming around, X month, that sort of thing. So we will reach out and let you know. Ken says, thanks, Troy, for mentioning me. You're welcome. As you can see, you know, we really take each case personally, each ticket you submit in. We have meetings with customer service and Troy and everyone else in supply chain every single week to make sure everyone's up to date with what's going on. Anything that has to do with shipping delays, maybe even if something's here earlier than it should be. We go case by case basis, make sure everyone's informed, and then even bring up tickets to see how we can help specific people with certain issues. So that's about when you'll know when you'll get your bike. Walter Westbrook says he'll be getting his bike here shortly. Keep up the good work. Thanks. We really appreciate that. 800 baby makers is like gold. It sure is. Like Troy mentioned, May is going to be a very, very big month for both us and you guys. We have one ship with a couple containers of just baby makers, so that's going to be huge for us. Real quick, I'm going to bring in Mark now. Mark is our shop pro here, in charge of fixing all your baby makers and the other bikes we produce. So,
hey everybody,
welcome, Mark.
So my name is Mark. I'm one of the bike techs here. I'm more on I'm more on the mechanical side of things. So yeah.
All right. Real quick before we dive into these questions, Mark, I just want to ask you real quick. Is there anything you want to tell the viewers right now? Things you've seen that you like, things you've seen that, you know, maybe a lot of people have written in and asked questions about that you would like to clarify in regards to the baby maker, maybe assembly, servicing, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the assembling our bikes is quite easy. I mean, they arrive to you pretty much like 85-90% assembled. So it's really basic. It's really just a matter of like putting the front wheel on and all that. A lot of at least the most common issue that I get emails from customers is threading the wrong pedal on the wrong side, and just installation of pedals in general. So on the pedals, on the spindle itself where the threads are, you can see an R or a left. That's obviously, I'm sorry, an L. So that means L for left, R for right. And what I like to do is to prevent cross threading or anything or damages to the crank threads with the bike standing up up straight. Thread the pedal towards the front end of the bike. So if you're on the left side of the bike, then it's to tighten it. You're rotating it to the left, and if you're installing the right pedal, then you're rotating it towards the right. So that's one thing to really remember. And also, using grease makes everything way much easier. Not to mention pedals and on your seat post, just to help prevent things from getting seized. So if you ever have to move that seat post up and down, it makes a world's difference. Just a little tiny dab of grease and then just spread it around with your finger, and that should be it.
Awesome. While we're kind of talking bikes and maintenance and that sort of thing, William asks, he says it's his first bike with hydraulic disc brakes. What sort of maintenance is involved in those kinds of brakes, and what are these service intervals associated with those hydros?
So the fantastic thing about hydraulic brakes is they're almost maintenance free, actually. I mean, besides the most obvious things like changing out your brake pads, and you would definitely know when to do that when your brake lever, if you assuming that you've adjusted the reach on it already, that if it's going all the way down to the bars, either one, your pads are low, or two, there's air in the system. Eventually, the brake fluid will get dirty, but I've ridden mountain bikes or just bikes in general with hydraulic brakes, and more than half the time I can go 2 to 3 years without changing the fluid, and it'll be totally fine. And when I do end up having to change it, the fluid is still pretty clean. So eventually you will have to do it, but the service intervals are just insanely long. But one way to check is to open the bleed port on the caliper side and pull the lever to see what kind of fluid comes out. If it's nice, if it's something that you can see through, then for the most part it's okay. But if it's clearly black, then you're gonna have to change it and keep in mind when it comes to bleeding hydraulic brakes, you do want a professional to do it, just because the time can be it could be a very tedious process. Not to mention getting any types of fluid on your brakes is all bad. You have to probably replace the pads at that point and the rotor.
All right. So yeah, I hope that answers your question there, William. Like Mark was saying, they're pretty straightforward. Once they're up and running, really, as you ride it, you know, over the course of a whole bunch of miles, those pads will wear out just like they do on your car. So simply replacing those is probably the only maintenance you'll need to do as long as those are functioning well. I did have someone ask me earlier this week, actually. They are right on the level or the height where we recommend, you know, that we have a 19-inch frame and a 23-inch frame. If someone's on the borderline right there and is not really an experienced rider and unsure what bike they should get, should they size up and ride a bigger one or go down? And what would you recommend?
So situations like this is really common. I'm about 5'5". I find myself in the middle of a medium and a small all the time. So one thing, a few things you have to take note is what your inseam is. Most people just compare that to like your pant length and the standover height of the bike. But to keep everything in a general sense, getting the smaller bike of the two is typically the best option, mainly because you can always make a small bike feel big, but you can never really make a big bike feel small. There's much more limitations on that sense. Like, for example, if you have a smaller frame, you can always raise up that seat post, you can always get a longer stem, you can always get different handlebars, but on the bigger bike, there's only so far that seat post will go down. There's only so much you can shorten that length of the stem. So if you're really on the cusp and you've already determined the standover height, you're okay on both models, it's best to really just go on the smaller end of things.
Awesome. Well, I think I was combing through these questions as we were going through here. I think that's all the stuff we have in regards to service. Is there anything you want to say real quick, before you sign off here?
Not much. I've been keeping track of the weapon. The design phases is going fantastic, and I'm really happy to show, or once everyone gets to see the finished product, it'll be great.
Awesome. All right, Mark. Well, thank you
for
coming in here. Again, everyone, that is Mark. He is our shop pro here. If you're someone who has a technical question about a bike, whether it's a Baby Maker or one of our other models, Mark is going to be the one most likely on the end of that ticket to walk you through exactly what's going on and that sort of thing. So he's been riding bikes for a while now, and we're extremely grateful to have him. And I'm sure if you've dealt with him on Zendesk or had a ticket in, you feel the same way. Let me go ahead and jump back here to some of these questions. I sort of lost my spot, so give me a second here while I try and locate exactly where I was. How many bikes are going to the Netherlands in total? Again, that's a Troy question. Well, I can't answer that. I kind of want to restate the fact that he said when he came in here, which I thought was really cool, 28 countries. We have Baby Makers in 28 countries. That's a lot of places. I think right now it's 3 continents, something like that. So yeah, pretty cool. Especially, being someone who was here when this was just an idea in our head. We had no idea it'd be the international bike that it is right now. So 21 Music, is it possible to get a refund for your weapon deposit? No, those deposits are non-refundable. While you aren't able to get your money back there, that does not mean that you have to purchase the bike once we launch. Only the deposit is non-refundable. Nothing in there is making you buy that bike later on. Where are the orders for the US? Again, Troy kind of went over some of that. Let me see. William says he's happy to say that he got his address confirmation email that says to do nothing and wait for the bike to arrive. Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen an address confirmation email yet, it means you're still waiting on your bike. However, when you do get it, I'll just go over it briefly. It'll say your order number, your name, and your bike configuration, followed by your address. We're just asking you to make sure everything looks correct. If it's good, says in big bold letters there, do nothing. You don't need to reply saying, hey, yeah, it's great. You don't need to click any buttons or anything like that. The reason we send out that email is for anyone whose address has changed. If that's the case, or if your configuration doesn't look like what you ordered, then you would need to take an action. And the steps on what you need to do are listed right there. But if you do get that address confirmation and everything looks great, wipe your hands, sit back and relax, because your bike will be on its way. Nothing else is required from you. All right, let me scroll down here a little more. Phil asked, to better protect the bike, have you considered tying the rear wheel to a couple holes in the carton so it doesn't slide forward if it gets dropped on its nose? Phil, what we've actually done as far as the packaging goes is designed a box so that there is no shift room allowed, so that if it were to take a tumble, be packed upside down on its side, that sort of thing, it's as secure as possible. We started fulfilling these bikes around Christmas time, and as you guys know, shipping around November, December gets pretty crazy. All the carriers are working extremely hard, but they also need to work extremely fast. So even though the bike is labeled this side up, we realize the bike isn't always oriented that way by the carriers. And because things like that happen, we've actually done drop tests on all the baby makers, on its side, on the corner of the box, upside down, that sort of thing. So even if the instructions aren't followed by the carrier, this side up, it's still going to be as protected as possible. The box itself is also double corrugated, so it's actually 2 cardboard boxes in and of itself. So that'll help from punctures or anything like that. So we really did our research when packaging these baby makers. And even after we started shipping some, we refined it even further. But that's a great question. For those of you who have seen a picture of a box, one additional step we did to secure the baby maker is we actually put a fish tank picture. If someone's not looking too quick, they may think they're shipping something that's glass, and take more care of it. So that's why that's there, in case you were wondering. Little bonus thing for you there. So someone asked, why are the bikes, this is for UK and Europe, why are the bikes being delivered on an alternate week basis? It doesn't really have anything to do with a shortage of containers or that sort of thing. The reason it's kind of alternating is because the logistics behind it are different. To get that container to UK is one thing in and of itself. And the next reason is that that Europe has about 2 times more orders than the UK. So that's why we're swapping. We're going Europe, UK, Europe, UK. And that way, that's going to help as many people get their bikes in about the same order that they purchased them. And that's kind of where we're swapping back and forth there. All right, Summerbody Savage, where do I find out what are the solid specs that my ordered bike will have? That depends on whether you purchased the Pro or Standard. However, if you go to the website, click on Baby Maker or the Indiegogo page, we actually have charts depicting the differences between the 2 bikes. But, since we've opened that campaign up, really not a lot has changed on the design of the bike at all. So there's really not going to be any surprises that you should have. Pepper says she got her bike through FLX site. Is the shipping the same as Indiegogo? Yes. So if you say, for example, you live in the United States, Regardless of whether you purchased on Indiegogo or on our actual FLX website, we are trying to fulfill those in the order in which you purchased. The last list of address confirmations that came out, we had mixed Indiegogo and website orders on it. So we are trying to fill based on the configurations we're getting out of the factories. We are trying to fill at an even rate. So regardless of the platform you purchased on, those bikes should come in a relatively similar order. There may be a few discrepancies. I know you guys have mentioned before that, you know, sometimes people post in the Facebook group, you know, here's my order number, I got my bike, and you have a lower order number than them. That may happen from time to time, but again, that's based on the configuration of the bikes. With 48 variants, it's impossible to go one for one as they were ordered, so that's why there are some discrepancies there. I'm gonna read some questions, get a little sip of water here. Someone said that the estimated delivery needs to be updated. Appreciate you letting me know. I'm going to go ahead and get that looked into it. I said not happy so far as all estimates are completely wrong. Want to first take a second and apologize to you for that. The last thing we ever want to do is be misleading or give you guys certain expectations and then not meet them. However, it's been a tumultuous year. The past 12 months since last March, there's been a lot of unexpected things come up. And that's why we use the word estimated shipping date. Even back then, you know, we thought we knew what was going to happen and about when we could get these bikes, but there's been some delays. Things have come up, you know, supply chain shortages. You know, we actually have container ships going up the Suez. So if you saw that ship that was sideways in it, you know, little things come up. So I am very sorry that our initial dates weren't tracking exactly, but that's why you're here watching it. So that's why we're doing these lives, is to keep you guys as informed as possible. So I will go back and look into that and see if there's something we can update there. But keep in mind, everything we give you guys that has a date is an estimated date. It's our best guess based on the information we have and where your bike is. But things come up. You know, the LA port is incredibly congested right now. There's a container shortage in China right now. So there are a lot of behind the scenes stuff that comes up that we have to work on. So those of you that have been so patient, we really, really appreciate it. You know, if it was up to us, we would have had every one of these bikes delivered months and months ago. But, you know, that's the nature of business. Sometimes things change and we're forced to adapt. We're just happy to have you guys tuning in and asking such good questions. It shows you really care. And that's why we made these bikes, is for you guys. So really appreciate that. All right. So someone asked, how can I buy an F5 Trail if you live in Europe? Unfortunately, right now, there's no way to do that. The Baby Maker is the only bike we currently ship internationally. Right now at this time, doesn't mean we won't in the future, but right now, the Baby Maker is the only bike you can get in Europe that we make. Oh, my thing I'm trying to follow your guys' chats, and sometimes it pulls in 15, 20 at once. So I just lost my spot. Okay. ASCO619 says over 1,000 bikes purchased. That puts mine way under the 78 supposedly delivered. Just want to clarify, like Troy said, that 78% is not bikes. That's not butts on seats, right? That's not people who have received their bikes. Those are the people who have a bike that is shipped out of the factory. So that's the metric we're going off, is once your bike's been allocated and has left the factory, that is where the 78% fulfillment comes from. And that's something Troy updates on a weekly basis if you go to our Indiegogo page and check the updates section, each week we have a little chart there with your country and about how far into that fulfillment process we're in. So if you want a little more up-to-date numbers, check that out. Again, that is not delivered bikes. That's bikes that have left the factory and are currently being shipped. Lisa Chen, does UK2 contain any standard bikes? Like Troy said, I'm not sure if the most recent containers have standards on them, but the Spain factory is producing standards. So if it's not on that one, it will be on one coming up here in the future. Give me 1 second here, guys. All right. So Andrew Colsey asked, where did you go? What notice do I get to pay the VAT, and who do you give it to? So, as far as VAT goes, or taxes and that sort of thing, what we've been doing, for example, for those in the UK, we send out an email to everyone with a VAT invoice. It says all of our information, shipper name, that sort of thing, and then your information. Your address, phone number, all that. And then it puts the price you purchased the bike for and the amount of VAT you need to pay. So we do that for you ahead of time. Below that, you will have the bank number and the instructions on how to pay the VAT itself. So if you're in one of those areas that there will be VAT for, turn myself down a little bit. We'll reach out to you with instructions, with the bank information, routing number, that sort of thing. We also send out reminders if we, every day or two if we don't get it. If you are, concerned, if you've gotten an address confirmation email and think that you may have to pay that, again, not all countries do, but if you think you are one of those people, shoot us an email to support@flx.bike, and we'll be able to further clarify that for you. All right, guys. Dang, we've been going for almost an hour now. So I'm gonna, ring that little reminder. Get your questions in. I'll go for another 5 minutes here. Hopefully cover everyone. But yeah, if you still have something on your mind, go ahead and write it in, and I will try and get to it. John says he bought on May 31st and just got an email. Awesome. So happy to have your bike on its way to you. Chris says, how are you doing? Good to see you again. Thank you. He says, gave me the exact specs of what he ordered. And also along with the touring package. Yeah, like Troy mentioned, we have begun sending out those accessories too. So that includes extra charger, extra battery, and touring package. We are waiting to send those out to people who currently have a bike. So if you did order one of those accessories, we want to make sure the bike is delivered before we send that out as well. But just like with the bikes, there will be an address confirmation email saying, hey, your battery's ready to ship. Does this look right? Hey, your charger's ready to ship. Does this look right? So we'll be reaching out to you for those accessories in the same way we did for the bikes. All right. William says, Rob's been great. He's even replied to Facebook comments and questions. Yes, like I said, Rob is one of the most personable guys I know. That's why you see him on here every week. That's why you see him putting out his own personal posts. That's why you see him commenting on Facebook. He really is involved with the community and everything and wants to hear from you guys. He loves that interaction, and to have that at the CEO level between the CEO and customer is not something that a lot of companies do. So, William, like you said, hats off to Rob for that. So, William again asked another question. Will you see baby makers going for even more monthly. Eventually, yes. So if you're thinking about, if you're someone watching who's potentially in the market for a baby maker, get one now. Once we go off pre-orders, meaning once we have an available stock, so that when you purchase, the bike will go out, within a week, that price is going to increase. The reason we're still keeping it low and on a discount is because it is a pre-order. So if you're on the fence or know someone who wants a bike, maybe you're even someone who's currently on a bike and you had a neighbor, friend, or family member say to you, wow, that thing looks good, because people will say that. Where'd you get it? You tell them FLX and you tell them to order now, because the price will be going up once we have an available stock. But again, we're working on getting all you guys who pre-ordered a bike first. So if you know someone, send them our way. Let's see here. Phil, yeah, I didn't mean to attack you in any way. As far as packaging goes, I believe you're in contact with one of our support guys. So if you still have questions or anything or want an update, please let us know about that. There are some crazy things that happen, when you send out 8,000 bikes, whatever it is on right now. Who knows what's going on? But if you have a ticket submitted with us, great. We'll be following up on that. If you still want some updates, let us know, though. All right, Simon, I'm glad you got your answer. Ulysses Jr. asks, is July 31st still the date we should expect all orders to be filled? Yes. We've been pushing very, very hard, not in just our factories, but with the carriers we use as well. We want to have everyone on a baby maker by July 31st. If you were here early on, Troy mentioned May is going to be an absolutely huge month for us. We have one ship alone with 3, maybe it's 4 containers of just baby makers on it. So we're about to see a huge influx of baby makers delivered for the month of May. Obviously, we still have June and July after, but yes, that is the date. It's written on our whiteboard outside. We want to have all you guys that pre-ordered riding by then. All right. Summer Body Forever. Gonna reiterate, if you have a Pro, it's gonna have a belt drive. If you got a standard, it will not. So I don't have your order up in front of me, but if you check on Indiegogo or wherever you purchased, we'll be able, and you see what bike you got, Pro versus standard, that will determine whether you have a belt or not. Unfortunately, I can't pull up your order in front of me right now. I'm scared if I do, this whole live is going to shut down. But depending on what configuration you got, Pro versus standard, determines whether the belt drive. And if you haven't gotten your bike yet, it will come with that later version of the LCD screen. So the FP Dragon asks, can he get the luggage rack by itself? Just that cargo rack from the touring package? Right now, no, but in the future, yes. Just like everything, we're focused on getting people what they ordered as quickly as possible. So we want to make sure that we fulfill all complete touring packages. That's rack, lights, cell phone mounts, water bottle cage, and fenders. All 5 of those things. Sorry, I had to rack my brain for that. We want to make sure that we send out those completed ones before we start offering the standalone items. So at this point in time, no, you cannot buy just the cargo rack. But in the future, once everything's been fulfilled, that is something that we'd like to stock individually. Just the light kit, just the water bottle holder, just the fenders, and just the rack, so that you can pick and choose what you want. The touring package as a complete set of all 5 items is going to be the cheapest, but eventually we do plan to offer those things as standalones. All right here. Chris says he loves his baby maker. The wait was too long, but definitely worth it. Couldn't agree more. I wish that all you guys are riding and we're talking about how cool the bikes are, but unfortunately we're not there yet. We are striving to be there by that July 31st date though. Last one, or last 2 here. Let me scroll down and see where I'm at. All right, last 2 questions here. What's up, Ben? 78% U.S. fulfillment. If your last 22% left. I don't want to tell you exactly where your bike would be. Again, I said it's based on the configuration. If you're one of those guys that is waiting on a Sterling bike, that bike is almost a separate option in and of itself. All other 5 colors share the same brakes, motor, wheels, that sort of thing. But the silver is slightly different in that its finish is that, beautiful metallic. So the motor is a different color, the levers. And there has been some components that we were waiting on. So I think that may be where you're at. If not, though, again, I don't want to give you anything that could be incorrect. So I'm going to leave you with that. Just know July 31st is our hard date. Let me see here. Ulysses is talking about the address confirmation. This is the last question I'm going to hit, guys. He said earlier on he wrote in after he moved or something like that, and updated his address. If you did something like that, you should be good to go. However, make sure you pay close attention when you do get that final address confirmation. Lastly, if you have gotten that address confirmation and still need to know, or you feel as if it may not have been updated, email support@flx.bike. They'll be able to tell you what we have on file and that sort of thing. Also, extremely important for all you guys that are still here with me, you want to make sure that if you changed your email address, you let us know too. Whatever you signed up with or purchased with on Indiegogo or our website is what we have on file for you. And as you can see throughout this live, we do a lot of correspondence via email. We send you guys a lot of information. So you want to make sure the email address we're using is the appropriate one. Again, if you think that it may or may not be, shoot us an email and we'll be happy to help you out. All right, guys, that concludes my time. We just over an hour, so not too bad. Again, we do this on a weekly basis, pretty much every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I want to thank you guys for being extra patient with me as I am filling in for Rob. He will be back and ready to rock and roll for the next one. So he'll be sitting in my spot right here, or he'll be sitting in his spot again next week. But again, guys, thank you so much for everything you do. I'm someone that monitors that Facebook group closely, along with looking over tickets and that sort of thing. And just want to say thank you to everyone who's been patient. Thank you to everyone who sent in kind words. And I just want to say I'm extremely grateful for those of you who have posted pictures of yourself with their bikes. It's great to see how excited you are that you've gotten your bike. And that's the reason we made the Baby Maker in the first place. We wanted a good-looking bike that everyone could ride because, there's something about riding that gives you a sense of freedom. And the Baby Maker really helps people get that sense back, especially during this crazy time we live in. So thank you so much for everything. If there's something that's still on your mind and it's bugging you, check our FAQ section on the website. If you don't find your answer there or still need some further clarification, again, hit us up at support@flx.bike. Shoot us an email there and we'll be happy to help you out, guys. Thanks so much for all of you who have taken the time to watch this. Again, we'll be back doing the same thing next week. So I will catch you guys then. Have a good one.